right, hello everyone, and welcome back to my comfy corner where I talk about things that make me comfy and cozy so I can stop bothering the people around me. And today, yeah, I know, iconic. I know you see the title. I know that you're here for me to ribble and rant and give you all the tea, and I will do that. Just a second, it got a steep. Okay, we are going to be talking about the Star Seekers. Okay, we're going to be talking about the Star Seekers Webtoon and Hive collaborated story. Now, just note that the Star Seekers, um, like the storyline and stuff, that's separate lore, girlies. We're in a whole nother realm of craziness and hilarity ensue. Now, I will say there are some cute little nods to like my theories and everything like that, and it would be cute if like as we continue to read and go down this rabbit hole, because we're all in it for the ride and to see how crazy I get, right? It would be cute to see some like cute little moments of where I'm validated, and there have been in these 3 volumes, but like I want you to know these are hefty. These are hefty. These are thickums. Okay? Like, so we're just gonna do 1, 2, and 3 until I get the next ones. I think physical copies, there are 6 volumes out. And I just so happened to see this at Barnes & Noble, almost like a calling, almost like it was like meant to be, and that this is just now my life where I just ribble and rant about TXT lore and stuff for everyone that isn't in as deep as I am, right? And so we are going to be talking about it, but a couple of ground rules. First off, if this is your first time seeing my face, hello, hi, welcome. If this is not your first time seeing my face and this is the first video that you decide to click out, I know it had to go. It left on its own. It's a new year, new time, new cycle. So we're just gonna keep it here, and we're gonna evolve and, you know, do everything that we can. Don't worry, the cards and stuff are still here with me. It just literally decided to fall off at the end of the year on its own, sort of like poetic. And another thing, yes, the lighting is better, girly. It's different, it's new, it's fresh. Thank you very much. We got budget now. And third, instead of referring to them as their names inside of the story, just because I myself get confused on who's who, and it is very clear that, like, you know, there's a direct line, like this is based off of, it's not based off the boys really, obviously, but like it's based off of TXT. I'm just going to be saying their names and their equivalent to who I'm talking about. And I'll try to do, like, in the beginning when I'm talking about characters, I'll try to do a picture to who I'm talking about equivalent, just so that you're not lost. But I'm just going to refer to the boys in the book, not by their names, but by who we know and love. And I'm going to point to the boys whenever I need to. And just for clarity, if you can't really see it and you can't really tell, I'm sorry. I'm working on the camera part. Just give me some time and some energy and some patience and some money. This is Yeonjun over here. This is my baby boy Tay Tay. This is my baby boy Bumgyu. This is Subini, and then this is Hyuna Kai. And if you can't get that from what I just said, and if you can't get it from when I say their names and I point to their faces, that's only on you. And with all of that being said, let's hop into discussing the characters first and world building before we talk about the story, because I feel like that's the best way for you guys to like come into all of the shenanigans that we're about to get into. Okay, so first off, in the first volume, we get a lot of back lore and story. Right here, this is Subin. Each volume has each member as the front cover, and I think after volume 5, it has all of them together on the volume. So just letting you know, so this is Subin right here. This is what his character looks like. And honestly, let me just give you a sneak peek, because there we go, yeah. Just so that you get the visuals. I want you to know as well, sometimes I'm gonna say I don't know and I'm confused, not because I don't follow what's going on and what's going on. It's just now that you guys can see what I'm working with and what I'm going through, aside from Subin and aside from Bumgyu, the rest of the 3 look like, do you see it? Like, do you, and I think they do a great job with lighting as an artist, to where like if there's a different lighting, then it reflects that with their hair and stuff. But like, do you see what I mean? Like, one of these things is not like the other, question mark? Like, do you, right. So this is Subin, this is Bumgyu, this is Yeonjun over here. This is let me triple check. Yes, this is Hunan Kai's character, and then this is Tay Tay's character. Don't ask me how I am so confident about it. I've just been reading these back and front to cover for you girlies, and just trust me. And if you don't trust me, read it yourself. All right, and so anyway, we have Subini over here. Subin's character in the story, he is the son of, you know what, before I even get into that, let's get into the world. Okay, rewind back. So in the world of Star Seekers, there are people who are just magic, and like 10 years ago something happened, a comet happened or whatever, that caused the world to, everybody now has a superpower or an element or something special about them. And everyone, but like some people don't. So like some people are just still normal and they don't come to realize their special ability in their magic, while others do. And so for some reason in this world, they were like, if you have magic, you are now a part of like the trainee system, or like it's heavily encouraged for you to be part of the trainee system, and that you use your powers to perform. And so celebrities and K-pop idols and K-pop stars, they're like the creme of the crop. They're like the top of the peak of the food chain, because not only can they sing, they dance, but they could use magic, and they use their magic in their performance. So, when you are 19, like the latest you could get your magical abilities actualized and awakened is 19 years old. Once you're past 19, you don't, like, it's just assumed that you don't have powers and you don't get it, and that sucks. It sucks to suck. So when the boys are in their training phase, they're training to get their powers awakened, and the company that they are under has put a lot of money, like 1 billion won, into them. I don't know what the US equivalent of that would be, but I'm assuming at least 1 million, or like a lot of money into the boys. But they passed 19, they're past their debut, and they haven't awakened their magical abilities. So basically it's just that they're normies, and they, like, there's nothing to say about them. And so when this happens, there's tier 1 and tier 2. So the tier 1 K-pop idols are the K-pop idols that have went through their training phase, that have done it all, but they also use magic and they have magical abilities. And then from that tier 1 are ranked from like how powerful an idol's magic is. And so there's like a ranking within awakening. But like if you're a tier 2 K-pop idol, that basically means like you went through the training phase but you don't have magical abilities, and most of the time they don't get to perform. They're just like lackeys to the tier 1ers, or like they do a lot of stage handling and fixing stuff, and they're like, tier 2s are heavily looked down upon in society, because it's like you basically wasted their time and energy. But also it's like, that makes sense, because like, okay, imagine you're, I don't know, you're an up and coming singer, right? And you're at a performance, and the person before you literally just made ice appear out of thin air and did sculptures of everyone that performed, and then you're supposed to come through and sing your little like dee lee. Like, how do you feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's giving. It's like basically like, imagine if you're performing after Beyonce. Do you think the people are going to care about you or care about Beyonce? That's essentially how tier 2s are treated, right? Especially since they can't use magic in this magical world. And so the boys' power don't get actualized. The reason why the boys even got this much money and funding is not only were all of the boys talented and skilled, but Subin, right? Subini, right here, his mother is named Lot in this book, and Lot is the it girl. Okay, she is the Beyonce, she is the Rihanna, she is the Adele, she is everyone that you think she is and more, okay? Because not only is she the most talented, everybody, like actress, singer, songwriter, performer, all of it, but also she has the most powerful magic of the idols, right? And so her magic is ice magic. So when her son, which is Subin, decided that he wanted to be a K-pop idol, the mother was like, I'm not gonna assist you as Lot. I'm gonna support you as a mother, but like, you can't use my name to get you anywhere, and like, I'm gonna act like you basically don't exist until you are the best under your own merit and stuff, because I don't want you to use me. Sort of, and it sounds cold how I'm saying it, but you later learn that the mother actually cares about her son and didn't want her son to get into this in the first place, because the industry is just a very scary and dangerous place, especially when you have magic. And in a way, she was hoping that his magic wouldn't actualize. So in a way, she was low-key happy that his magic didn't really actualize, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So that's Subin. The rest of the boys, in terms of her backstory, in all 3 volumes, we really didn't get too much. Thing to note about Yeonjun is that he really doesn't like magic. He feels like people should be judged by their merit and their character and their talent versus whether or not they can make sparklers appear out of thin air. And honestly, I feel you, and honestly same, but like, you know, and so that's his big thing. And then I believe Bumgyu has a coming to Jesus moment, where we get a flashback of him not being able to save someone, and I think his parents died. Yike. I don't know. These are speculations. Again, I'm telling you what I have knowledge of in 3 volumes. So you could tell how fast-paced this book is. And so yeah, that's basically the boys. And before we get started off on this series, just know that, again, I'm going to do my best when sometimes I show you visuals to say who's who, and I'm going to refer to them as their names and stuff. But like everything that I said in my previous lore video, if you guys have watched that and binge watched it, thank you. But also just keep that in the back of your head. But how this world operates is very, very different than like the lore that I had. And there's some winks and nods, but yeah. And so I think I did a good job explaining backstory, and also, again, one last time showing you visuals before you don't get it consistently anymore. Subin, Yeonjun, Hyun and Kai, Tay, and Bumgyu. All right. Okay, so for volume 1, we start off again, like I said, with the boys on their final day of trainee time. They passed 19 years old. They have not awakened their elements, and they basically got lectured by the head of the company, basically saying like, you guys are tier 2s. We wasted so much money on you, especially Subin. Remember Subin. He is like the child of the most powerful person, and they're the most disappointed in him. And so they basically like, we're taking away your privileges, we're taking away your budget in your car, you're gonna have to take a bus to wherever you need to go now, and we're just gonna loan you out here and there. Now somehow their manager, which is basically like, this manager is only in charge of tier 2s and they're not the best manager, but somehow the boys are booked for a 55th annual like award show situation. And the reason why they're booked is because the tier 1 group got too busy or something happened, and they weren't able to get any other tier 1s. They weren't available to fill in for their spot. And so since technically they're tier 2s, but they're the best out of the tier 2s so far, they were chosen, but they're basically disrespected. No one cares about them. Again, at this point, the only people that knows that Subin is Lot's son is, it's unclear if the gang knew or not, because there's a moment where it's like, I thought they knew, but then there's a moment where maybe they didn't. So it seems like the only people that definitively know at this point that Subin is Lot's child is the company manager and Subin. So everyone else just treats him the same as the rest of the gang. And as far as I know, the rest of the gang don't have super duper powerful parents of the same level as Subin's. So as they're performing, getting ready, everyone's treating them like crap. The stagehand is like, you only get 1 chance to rehearse and that's it. You should be even lucky you're on the stage with all these other amazing tier 1 powerful whatever. And you guys are going to perform last. So, you know, it's going to go the way that we think and is intended. And so while they're doing the rehearsal, Subin has like a flashback or flash forward and doesn't realize that he had a flash forward. And he gets scared of the fire, and then they tease him and it's like, oh, of course a non-magic user is scared of some fire and some like pyrotechnics. So they actually do get on the stage to perform. Now it's the night of the concert. The crowd is just really not having it. And this is after a tier 1 group just like literally, like, think of like the most magical performance. Like, think of this like a Disney World Fantasia-esque performance, and then you just see normal guys walk out. Like, that's the level of the confusion that the crowd is having. But they're still performing, and then next thing you know, boom, it gets trashed, it gets thrashed, there is fire, there's danger. And turns out, rewind, there in this world, there is like I won't say it's a cult, but essentially a cult, or a terroristic group of people called the Dragon Clan Killers or something like that. And they basically target groups, like they basically have been targeting tier 1 groups and kidnapping them and or killing them and or causing a big stink and injuring people, because they think that or the media paints them to think that they just hate magic users, even though they themselves are magic users, and they have a vendetta against tier 1ers. So when they start performing, for some strange reason, instead of the Dragon Clan attacking when all of the other tier 1s went, they decide to attack when the tier 2s went, and tries to kidnap the tier 1 group that just went right before they went. And so the tier 1ers, remember, who have powers and are magic. And if you're a tier 1, especially since you're at this award show, you are pretty powerful. Vamoose, they are gone. They are gone with the wind. They are nowhere to be seen. They leave before everything happens. They just escape. And they don't save the crowd of people that are there that may or may not have powers and magic. They don't save anybody. So somehow the boys end up getting some level of courage in the face of literal people like flame throwing them. Like, think of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're getting rock'em sock'em by like Azura. Okay, that's the level of danger we're at right now. And they're like, you know what, we gotta fight, we gotta protect, we gotta do. And then in this heat of the moment where the boys genuinely think that they're about to die, Subin actualizes his power, and he uses the most powerful like blue protection circle magic that hasn't been seen before, right? Usually there's elements or illusion magic, and there's different types of magic, but we haven't seen this protective magic before. And like does like a really big powerful blast to scare away the guys, and also like, you know, not kill, because they don't kill people in this book, but we all know basically are dead. Basically blast away all the enemies. And so when that happens, Subin actually goes to hospital, because not only was this the first time of him actualizing his magic, but it burned his arms and stuff when the blast happened. And so it just made media, because remember, this is live at like the 55th annual big award show. And now not only is Subin magical, which shakes things up for the group, but everybody that saw that show is like blowing it up on social media. They're like, see, that's why you don't diss the tier 2s, and what, because again, they all passed 19 years old. So this is the first time ever that someone past 19 has actualized their magic, and for it to be so powerful was like news breaking. And so that happens. They're at the hospital. The same manager, or the same what am I trying to say, business dude that was roasting them like a couple of pages ago, are now like, you guys are my stars, oh my goodness, why didn't you say you could use magic? Don't worry, we got you the best hospital. We fired your previous manager. You have this new creepy weird manager who has scars all over his face. He's not gonna only help you actualize your magic, but he's gonna like manage you from now on. And they're like, whoa, this is a lot. And the other boys, they haven't actualized their magic yet. So they're like, you know, we're just happy we're not treated like scum. And we're happy that Subin was able to protect those people, which was the biggest thing as well. In the comments of people who were watching the show was like, see, that's crazy, because that tier 1 group didn't even save a single person. Meanwhile, these boys who didn't even have magic, somehow one of them do, was saving everybody. So again, they're seen as heroes. They go on a press tour, fast forward. And the boys, aside from Subin, still hasn't actualized their magic, and Subin is still trying to get used to his magic, but they haven't done any formal training. And they're like, this manager seems suspicious, because didn't they say that he's supposed to help us with our magic? But like, what's going on? Hello? And so this is where it gets low-key dark. And this is where it's like, oh, this is like a fun time for me, because I see we're not sunflowers and roses. So basically, the manager is like, hey, Subin, I need to talk to you for a second. You have an interview by yourself. And as they're walking towards the management station, the rest of the boys are left in their van, right? Just like, oh, you know, we're just so happy for Subin, and, you know, maybe one day our powers will actualize. And so while Subin is walking with the manager, he's like, you know what? I don't think that it's fair that only I'm getting an interview this time. Let me let my manager know next time, don't book me by myself, book me with the rest of the gang. Loyalty. We're here for it. But as that's happening, he's like, wait a minute. This isn't the way to the station. And wait a minute. You're not on the phone. Your phone is not, there's nothing on there. There's nothing on the phone. And when that happens, the manager's like, you're right. Actually, we're going to do a fun exercise. Do you see that car over there? Room. And the manager uses his magic to like start the car up and make it go full speed into an oncoming train. And he's like, yeah, see, now here's a fun quiz for you. Can you save your friends before they die using their magic? Because you're going to have to do it right now because they're going to die. And so like, Subin is having like a trauma response to this, and he's able to get his powers to work to try to stop the car from getting hit by the train, but his power wasn't strong enough, and somehow the car breaks through it. Like, it stops it for a second, but the magic breaks through. Now remember, the rest of the boys are in the car not understanding anything that's happening right now, so they also think that they're about to die. And so in this moment, we get a flashback from Bumgyu. Trying to make sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure it was Bumgyu. Triple checking. No, it wasn't Bumgyu. It was Hyun and Kai. See, that's why we double check. We get a flashback from my baby boy Kai, who did nothing wrong, and so he gets so he has the trauma up. He's like, oh, I couldn't save them then, I've got to save them now. And he uses his magic, and he basically gets to summon these little sprites, these little animal sprites or whatever, and they not only slow down and stop the truck or the van right before it hits the train, but also basically like heals and comforts the boys as they get out of the van and unlocks the van. And so the manager is just like, yeah, so and so Subin is just like, we need to fire this manager because he almost killed you guys and he's insane. Like, let's leave. And so the manager's like, nah, you guys are never in real danger. I was gonna stop it before it hit the train. It was very close to the train. I don't know how true this is, but they believe him, so I'm gonna believe him. And so he's like, oh, I was gonna stop it before it got any real thing, but this is the real secret to how to materialize your powers, right? Like, all of you boys have lived, like, we're the top group and have been given luxury this whole time. And yes, your training and stuff was hard, but like, you guys have never felt desperation before. And so when you guys were attacked on that stage, Subin felt enough desperation to enact his power. Like, that's the fuel behind the power, is desperation. To activate it, to get it to kickstart. And so Kai, you had enough desperation in the car to where you were able to actualize. So basically that's what we're gonna have to do to unlock your powers, is a level of desperation, and aspiration and hope. And so let's go to Magic Island. I know, to train you. And Subin at first is just like, are we just gonna skim past the fact that he almost killed you guys? Because I'm still not, I still don't, you know, like, I don't know how I feel about that. And so the rest of the boys was like, he only tried to kill us once. Let's just see how this goes. And so they go to Magic Island. Okay, so now they're at Magic Island. Basically another clan attack happens, dragon clan attack happens. And as they're attacking the boys, Subin isn't really able to get his powers working Subin gets captured. So the guy that captured him was basically nullifying his magic, so he couldn't really escape. And remember, Kai's magic isn't really, like, at this point, his magic isn't attacking magic. All he could do is summon like these little sprites, and he hasn't fully actualized his magic yet. We're gonna get into how his magic is at full power. But yeah, so basically it looks like baby boy Subin is gonna get took, but then somehow, some way, shape, or form, my baby boy Bumgyu, my half sweet baby boy, he ends up listening to a voice at Magic Island, which was, this place amplifies your magic. And so he's like, all he hears is a voice being like, can you hear us? We're here to help you. And he's like, who is talking to me? He's like, oh, you can finally hear us. We've been talking to you our whole life, but now you're able to hear a voice. Please use our magic. So he has plant magic that basically, like, he's our baby boy, planty boy. And so he uses the plant magic to attack the bad guy and basically fend him off. And then the manager comes through and gives him a blast. But then after the blast, he gets another scar on his hand. We'll get back to that when we get back to it. But anyway, basically Bumgyu's power when it gets unleashed is that he is able to not only attack using plant magic with plants that are around him. So if he's ever like in a desert or in a place that does not have any life or vegetation, he can't really do much. But he could hurt and he could heal. Sounds familiar? A little wink and nudge from what was before. Anyways, so the other boys were like hit with like some poison, and so Bumgyu's able to focus his energy into finding where the poison is in the boy's body and is able to expel it out. So that's another power of his, is using his plant magic to heal and also defend and use like viney stuff, and it's really cool. He has this cute little transformation. I'll get to the page. No. There we go. Here we go. Again, very cute visuals. You guys should read it if you take anything away from here. Yeah, that's what it looks like when he's out. And so, as Bumgyu's healing everybody, Bumgyu realizes that the manager has a scar on his hand when he did the blast. He's like, I don't know if I could heal that. And the manager's like, well, yeah, that's the thing. You can use your magic, and you need to train and practice how to use your magic the right way. But there's a certain level of desperation that you can reach to where you max out of your power and you use like the most powerful basis of your magic. But when you do that, there's a cost. And the cost for the manager is anytime that he uses over his capacity, his exchange for using over his capacity is that he gets a scar wherever he unleashed that power, which is why he's filled with a whole bunch of scars and stuff. Right? And so that makes sense on why Subin earlier was in the hospital and why his arms were like a little bit burned up, but they ended up healing, because he used too much of his power during that time and he didn't use it responsibly. And that's why Bumgyu had that little transformation. Anytime he uses over his magic, he gets hit with a thorn and he feels the pain of like the thorn on wherever he unleashed his magic. They all have their own things. I'm gonna speed run the rest because I'm not gonna say they weren't interesting, but I just want to get through the powers. Book 1 was pretty hefty. This is all basically book 1, everything that happened before officially book volume 2 was when Yeonjun's power unleashes. But yeah, so far we got Subin that has protective magic, like shield magic or whatever, but he could basically do anything with it. I'm gonna call it creation magic. They don't, but that's sort of how my mental works through it. Baby boy Hyun Kai is able to summon cute little animal-y spirits, and Bumgyu can use plant magic. Eventually, Tay finds a spell book on Magic Island, but it's blank. But then his friend who was sick ends up getting inspired by the gang getting their second chance, and so his friend that got sick, it's alluded that like some trainees who feel like they won't actualize their magic end up doing something or taking something that ends up not only limiting their magical abilities, but basically making them sick and ill for life. Like, it's a big risky thing to do. And so his friend ended up doing it, but he decided to go back on lives as his own and like teach people how to sing, because he was actually a really great singer and musician. And while baby boy Tay was watching that, his friend ends up like having a spell and he like falls down, faint, something happens. And so when that happens, he sees something on his spell book that says that by chanting the spell, he can borrow another magic user's powers for one-time use. And so he sees this, he goes to his manager and he's like, can you see what this says? And can I actually do what the page says? And the manager's like, that's an advanced spell book and not everybody could read that. So no, I can't see what it says. Can you see what it says? And he was like, yeah. And the manager's like, so you've had your power this whole, because they had their own little training arc and they're getting prepared for a concert too. I've been skimming over that. I'm trying to give you the good meat and potatoes. If you want to know more, read the book. And so the manager is like, okay, well, yeah, your power is that you're a spellcaster. You use spell books and you could learn magic and spells and stuff, which is pretty OP. All of them have some pretty OP things, but like, honestly, again, we're back at the point where if I promise you, if Tay isn't powerful and like one of the most powerful people in this story throughout the story with the power that he has this time, I might lose it. I might actually snip and snap. Okay. But anyways, he uses his newfound power from his spell book to chant the spell and get a one-time use from Bumgyu's plant magic of healing to send healing over to his friend. But in the process, he ends up taking the price because he used a good chunk of Bumgyu's powerful magic to do that, and that spell was an over powerful spell than what he was trained to do. And so he ends up breaking his arm, I think. Like his arm ends up snapping. Well, not snapping, but like he ends up getting injured in his arm. And that pisses off Yeonjun because at this point, all the other boys got their powers but him. And the manager is thinking about cutting him because he hasn't actualized his magic. But the rest of the boys are like, no, because he's basically like our dude. He's our leader. Well, no, Subin's still the leader, but like he's the most talented out of all of us. They try to hype him up, and so they decide to practice in secret. Without Yeonjun, on uplifting Yeonjun and showing that he's actually a really good singer and dancer, and that he's the center for one of the songs that they're going to perform at this breakout concert, their very first performance, by using their magic. But when this happens, Yeonjun, he ends up going to the stage where they're going to perform. He has this little melancholy moment, and a cat appears. I shit you not, a cat appears. I know. I need to show you this freaking cat, because it's so stinking cute, actually. Yeah, this is the cat. You see it, you love it. You see how it has a blue and green eye? Yeah, I know. But he sees this cat is injured. They end up taking care of the cat. And they're like, we don't know who its owner is, but we're just gonna take care of it until we figure out what to do with the cat. So the cat's just chilling. Fast forward, they're at their very first concert. Subin's mom is there, Lot's there, and they're not really. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure we're not getting into volume 2, and we actually did just get into volume 2. So I'm gonna pause here, okay, and just recap. Basically, all of the boys up until the end of volume 1 has their power actualized, but Yeonjun ends up saving this cat and nursing it back to health. And next volume is when we get into what I was about to get into, which is the concert. Okay, volume 2. I almost got ahead of myself. Sorry about that, but I'm not sorry. Volume 2, the concert. Also, this is Yeonjun's volume, which is very fitting because it low-key is. So they're at the concert. Surprise, surprise. Subin's mom is actually there a lot. And the boys again, this is the point where I'm like, the boys know, because the boys are like, you should go speak to your mom. And he was just like, nah, I'd rather perform first. I don't want to bother her. Whatever. It seems like there's some tension between him and his mom. We'll get to it when we get to it. But it seems like, based off of how the boys think, is like, oh, maybe he doesn't have a close relationship with his mom. Okay, we won't press it. So they get on stage, they practice. Subin has another flash forward, does not tell the boys yet again, very reminiscent to the lore from before. Glad you're staying in character, Subin. And so he doesn't say anything because he's like, this is nothing. It's not like last time I had a flash forward, the same thing happened in the flash forward. And so they end up getting attacked again, surprise, by the Dragon Killer clan. They really want Subin, but at this point now they just want all the boys because they realize that all the boys have some really super powerful OP magic, and so they're trying to kidnap and or kill. We're not sure yet, but it seems like they're trying to kidnap the boys, including Yeonjun. But like they sort of don't want to kidnap Yeonjun, but they want to kidnap Yeonjun. So as this is happening, as the performance, again, they're not able to sing and dance, do their thug thizzle. They're all fighting and using their powers and abilities. Yeonjun tries to help, but then realizes that he's powerless. And then we have this really lit scene where the cat ends up freezing time. Oh, and also remember, Subin's mom is there, and Lot is doing the best that she can to keep everyone at bay. And remember, she's the most powerful, so she's telling the boys not to overexert themselves. But we have this really dope scene. Again, the art in this is phenomenal, okay? And so the cat that Yeonjun helped and saved stops time while all this chaos is happening. And just know, like, around Yeonjun, before the time was freezing, like, everyone was basically using their magic to protect everyone, and Lot as well, Subin's mom. Remember, OP Ice Magic Queen. And so Yeonjun has this talk with the cat where the cat is just like, do you want power? And he's just like, what's the catch? Glad we're savvy this time. Love that for you, Yeonjun. And so Yeonjun's just like, what's the cat? what's the catch? Because no one gets anything for free in this world. And he's like, yeah, the cat's like, I can stop time. That's one of my abilities. And I could basically only last for so long. So I'm gonna ask you again, do you want power? And so he's just like, I sort of do, but like I need you to explain what's going on. And then the cat basically explains, because he's like, you don't get anything free. Cat's right, you're right. I'm not from, I found the cat touchy. Cat's like, I'm not from this universe actually, and I need help to get back to my universe. And when I got trapped over here, and you decided to help me, I figured, you know, the least I could do is help you in this time of need. I could basically tap into your powers and unlock that door for you, so that way you get like, basically you're able to use your true power, which, plot twist, everything that I just said isn't officially their true powers. We will get to it when we get to it, girlies. And so the cat's like, I can unlock everyone's door. I know, I just kept screaming reading volume 2. But basically the cat's like, I can unlock everyone's door of power, so that way you're able to tap into your true persona of magic. I skimmed over it from the first volume because it is important, but it's not important right now. And even like right now, it doesn't really symbolize it. But there's a page where they got to get a sneak peek into what their true name is, what their true power is, if you will. And it's like basically a persona for each one, or like some representation of an item or something, right? And so the cat's like, yeah, I could help you unlock that. And I could do that for you. And honestly, I'm not changing anything. I'm just opening the door for you. You guys would have unlocked it sooner or later, but it would have taken you a long time to do so, versus me just unlocking it now. But if I don't unlock it now, I guarantee you guys are gonna like either get captured or killed, because yeah, the guys that are fighting you right now are gonna beat your ass, just letting you know. And so Yeonjun has this moment of time where like he's like, ooh, what should I do? I'm gonna quote here from the book where the cat is just like, you had the abilities all along, simply opening the closed doors inside of you. Manifest it now or later. It doesn't make much of a difference, does it? We're out of time. I won't ask again. Do you want power? And then Yeonjun was just like, I do, and I want everyone else to have power too. And so the cat is just like, deal, because you know, in this world the cat is helping because Yeonjun helped them. And we get this really epic scene where they're basically like super duper OP, and Subin is savvy enough to realize that again, look at that. I know it's a okay. But Subin's savvy enough to realize that at first, what he was doing was very different than now. And he realizes that one, Yeonjun now has a crown and has a sword that he's able to materialize from his crown, which was that thorn. Also now, Subin, when passing Yeonjun, was able to use a bow and arrow. And it's like a really super cool, dope bow and arrow light magic situation. So that's his true magic, right? And then I'm trying to get to it so you could see, but that's fine. We don't need to address everything. Again, read the book if you want to read the book. Subin now uses arrow magic that's really precise, and he could shoot it from anywhere and target the person that he's thinking of. So that's really dope. And then baby boy Hinakai, he gets wings. I know, and it's one wing at first, which is even crazier because like, but anyway, he gets wings and he's able to summon a spiritual bird that he's able to ride on for limited amounts of time, and he uses those wings to protect people and get them and fly them to safety. Tay, his unlocked power was actually that he's able to use spells without incantating, like without chanting them and without saying it, but he's basically still technically using his spell book, but not. And so he makes a prism to move out the people that are at the concert to, again, safety. And then baby boy Bumgyu, he's able to use his vine magic, even though there's not any immediate plants there, but he's able to use like, he's able to like grow a tree out of nowhere. I think the best way that I could explain Bumgyu's magic is I think that he's just able to create plants and then manipulate it, and maybe also wind magic. I would say maybe even elemental magic, and that would be really cool to see. But anyway, they use these unlocked abilities to defend the people on the stage, but when that happens, all four of them are out. Okay, they are blacked out. Remember, causality is what it's called, but there's always a give and take for using powerful magic beyond your means, and they use powerful magic beyond their means, and so they're all passed out. When this happens, Lot, Subin's mom, and the manager are there, and they're like concerned for the kids, obviously. But then out of nowhere, these Secret Service men start fighting the clans people, and they handle it, and they're like, get in the van. We're gonna take these kiddos into the van, don't you worry, they're gonna go to hospital. And so luckily Lot and the manager were like, no, we're not gonna leave the boys with you. Lot uses I'm their mother privilege, which good on you, Lot. And then manager uses I'm their manager and I'm responsible for them. And they both go into the same van that the boys are in because they don't trust the people that just told them to get into an unmarked van and that they're going to the hospital. But turns out the boys actually do go to the hospital, but they're talking with this really creepy guy. Forget his name. He's not really that relevant. I mean, he is, but he isn't. Tell me he doesn't look like a villain without telling me he looks like a villain. And so he's just like, yeah, I took the boys, but they are getting treatment or whatever. But we just realized after that concert that your boys are the boys of prophecy, so we need to take them to a safe place. Lot's hearing this, and she's just like, okay, let's see where this goes. And the guy is just like, you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And both of them do, so that they can discuss. Flash back to the boys. They're getting healed up, and while Yeonjun's the only one still knocked out, the rest of the boys are up, and the cat appears. I know. So the cat appears while Yeonjun's still knocked out, and pauses time again, and basically the cat is telling them what he told Yeonjun, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna help you one last time by healing you guys up. That's what I did, and just letting you know, yeah, they're called the Origin, which is their original thing. And it's just like, yeah, you guys should learn more about the Origin, and you guys should know more about magic. I'm sorry, I thought that this world was more advanced in magic and like what that entails and stuff. But I was the one that healed you guys. I was the one that opened the power for you. Don't worry, I'm not a threat, but this is like my last gift to you, essentially. I haven't told you a lie. And yeah, for your better judgment, you should learn, basically the Tay is like, you should learn more about your spell book, and you should have more knowledge of magic and what the Origin is, which is again their original magic, their persona, if you will. And yeah, and the cat leaves suspiciously. Then they get taken by this dude, who again is just like, this is the prophecy. Oh. And so they go with him because they know that Lot, Subin's mother, and the manager is with them. They go to this like really fancy mansion, and the mansion looks like this. They're drinking tea and stuff, and they're like, what's going on? When are we going back on tour? When are we going to do blah, 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 blah? And so they talk with this crazy dude, and they're just like, the crazy dude is like, okay, listen, so there's a prophecy that when the boys of the legend come together, that there will be this dragon that comes through. And the guy here right, tells them like, oh yeah, this is a dragon of prosperity and magic, and so you guys will be the reason why he's summoned. There's a summoning circle. Once you summon him, you guys will herald in the new age of magic where people can use magic to heal people, and there will be an abundance of magic, and there won't be causalities anymore because this is a new age, right? Similar to what happened 10 years ago. And so the boys are just like, okay, so like, what does that have to do with us in our schedule? And the guy's just like, did you not hear what I said? You guys are like, you guys, I canceled your group. Like, I talked with your manager. This guy is the head of like the most benefactor of magic company, so he's uber duper rich. So he was able to convince their not their manager but the company to basically let them go as a boy band and let them train at this mansion for their magic, so that way they're able to summon the dragon at one point in time with their full potential of magic. And so yeah, the boys are like, no. Literally the guy is just like, this will bring Wizards of Destiny. And I think it was no, this might be Tay Tay, and it'll be like, and that's us doing all of that, right? And his guy's like, and that is absolutely correct. And he's like, but we're just a boy band. And the guy's like, what? And he's like, yeah, this utopia that you mentioned, that'll be great, that'll be cool, that'll be weird and quirky, but like, we just want to be a boy group. And honestly, I live for that reaction. And so the guy's just basically not taking it, and he's just like, you know what, I'll give you some space, but like, you guys don't really have much of an option because this is about the new world, and you guys would really like let people die if you don't bring in this dragon age. And so the boys end up talking with Lot, which is where I begin. And Lot was just like, I just wanted to know what you guys thought. I didn't want to bring in anything bad, but what do you guys want to do? And they're like, well, is there a way we could do both? And Lot was just like, you know what, me and your manager, we're gonna talk, we're gonna do it. But sure, you know what, we will do that. And the mother actually is a really sweet and doting mother on Subin, and we get this flashback where we realize from the mother's perspective, because Subin thought that the reason why the mother didn't want him to do it is because she didn't believe in him. But the reason why she didn't want him to do it is because, again, she knew that this was a dangerous thing, and she was worried that people would want to use his ability and his friend's abilities for bad things. But then plot twist, remember that dragon clan that attacked at the concerts and stuff? Turns out the mother is a part of the cult and ends up becoming the head of the cult after having a powwow with the head of the cult previously. And turns out, right, the creepy guy was actually lying when he said it will be a new age. Well, he wasn't lying, and he was. Turns out, if you keep the dragon alive, right, and summon it, if you summon it and keep the dragon alive, it will bring a new age of magic, but it'll kill all non-actualized magic users. And so this evil guy was going to use this time to basically kill non-magic users and weak magic users, so that way only the powerful magic users are in this world of utopia, and that he would be like the king, ruler supreme of this, and he would be recognized for that. But Lot, right, she's on the opposite side of this dragon clan killing group that is about either preventing the dragon from being summoned, which seems like that's not happening now, because the boys are like, we're gonna do both, we're gonna summon the dragon and we're gonna be a boy group, right? But also the clan was, first, if we can't prevent the dragon from being summoned from the boys, we're either gonna have to kill the boys or we're gonna have to kill the dragon. And killing the dragon would mean you would need a powerful user to basically use their most powerful magic to drain the dragon, and in doing so kill themselves and the dragon in the process. So basically it's a self-sacrifice thing. So the mother realizes that the leader of the group has just been attacking and lashing out in fear because they don't want to die, and they sort of put this on this person at a very young age. And so Lotta's just like, you know what, I will take up that burden, even if it means I potentially hurt and potentially kill my son, because I feel like everybody should live in a world where they matter, whether they're magic users or not. And so that is the tea of volume 2. I know that was a lot. Volume 3 is going to be a little bit more lighthearted, and a little bit less sad. But yeah. It's cooking. I know it's cooking. So after that plot twist of finding out that Lot's mom is actually a part of that dragon clan that's been attacking them this whole time and knew about it, but now she's the head of it after that last attack and is in charge of the clan, but also plotting against the boys, but can't tell the boys what's going on. I don't know why no one can be honest with the boys at this point. The boys now have decided that they're gonna not only still perform as their boy group, which I forgot to mention, their group name is Star One. So cute. And so, they're still practicing as a boy group, and they have dance practices and all that other stuff, and they have, interviews, and they have all of that still. But then on the side, they're practicing at that evil dude's mansion. Remember, again, they don't know this, but it's good enough that Tay Tay realizes that something's suspicious. And a part of his spellcaster ability is that he's able to basically consume a lot of knowledge and information at once. And whenever he's in a library, he could just be like, I need a book that does this, and the book summons to him. So he's researching what the origin is, but also researching more about the Dragon's Tail. Can't wait for him to figure out what's going on there. I feel like that's going to be volume 4 because that doesn't happen in volume 3. But you basically get to see what the boys are doing training-wise versus boy group wise, and they get prepped for another concert. At this point, the boys have not been able to perform a single concert without being attacked, and so Subin is able to have another flashback, and he finally decides to tell the boys what the flashback is, which is basically the day of their performance in London. I skimmed over it, but basically this, where they train their magical abilities with like magical masters to attune it. And so the more confident and stronger and powerful they get in their magic, the more powerful magic they can use without a causality. So that's what they're training on. I just wanted to add that in if it wasn't clear, because I do realize I'm skimming over some stuff, so that way we can get to the story. But yeah, they have a performance in London, which is where their training grounds are and has been, just because it's easier. How they get from place to place, because this is all taking place in Korea, obviously, and then they go to London for their training, is that they have like a magical portal that they use to get back and forth. And it's also really funny because the boys do feel the effects of the time difference, but they end up chugging this elixir that's made out of black blood, which is basically like a condensed, there are certain areas that have condensed level of magic that is in the soil, to where anytime it rains, it's called black blood, because this is the most concentrated point of magic, and it's a way to restore the boys. So they're basically taking like magical energy drinks to keep up, but they're just happy that they get to be a boy group and also in their mind save the world. Remember, Tay Tay is still researching on it because he's the most skeptical. Good on you, Tay Tay. Good on you. I'm glad that you're being useful. Okay, because last time I was really pissed off that you were right and no one listened to you. I hope that doesn't happen again in this. But anyways, while Tay Tay's researching about the origin of magic, Subin has a flash forward, realizes that their concert is going to get attacked by the Black Dragon, or not the Black Dragon, the Dragon Clan killers. And turns out the reason why the Dragon Clan, i.e. Subin's mom, is attacking is because they're attacking a truckload of black blood, because the evil guy that they're working on has a monopoly on it, and the Dragon Clan killers need to get their hand on it if they want to train themselves to basically kill the dragons and potentially maybe even take care of the boys. And so Subin is able to hatch up a plan with the boys and with their manager, who's still around. Meanwhile, the manager seems really suspicious, and Loki wants the boys killed. I don't know. We're gonna put a pin on that. I can't really, when the twist plots, I will get to it, but I just wanted to sprinkle that in. Don't trust the manager. Okay, but the manager at this point is still trustworthy to them, and so he's just like, yeah, let's do this plan and basically save as many people as we can. But also, their goal, I shit you not, is we don't want the concert canceled again. We are gonna perform, goddammit. And so we're gonna save people, not just because we want to save them, because we do want to save them, but we're gonna perform and we don't want to get it canceled, especially not in London. This is our first time gonna be performing in London, okay? So as that's happening and Tay Tay is listening to this, Tay Tay exposes that actually Subin is an elf, and elves have this innate ability to where I'm trying to get to it, but basically elves have this innate ability to foresee the future and be future tellers. But if they ever stray away from the positive path, that they will basically die. So they have to be very fortuitous. Yeah, here we go. So when he has his flash forwards, people don't see it, but now he's getting stronger and stronger. His ears turn like that, so he's an elf. All the boys are actually magical creatures, as Tay Tay explains. In terms of where their magic is, yes, but if they don't maintain their purity as an elf, they pay the price with death. So they still have to stay pure-hearted, which I feel like was said in a very ominous way. I'm trying to get to where the boys, because right before this, Tay Tay tells the boys what their elements are. Jeez. Sometimes I wish I bookmarked it. There we go. Baby boy Hyun Kai is an Orinth. Orinths come in various forms, but are humanoids with wings and experts in summoning creatures. And then it says that Tay Tay is a Noctuus. They look like owls, and their gemstone eyes are the source of their magic, and my magic seems to involve my eyes a lot. Yeah, when he was at his ultimate form and he was able to like spell cast without using the book, it was a magic circle in his eyes, so that's what was used. Again, love the little mini tie-ins, even though that's not Subin. And I don't think Bumgyu is a Viking. They don't say what Yeonjun's is. And they don't elaborate on Viking. I think Vikings are just plant-based people, and then they talk about Subin. So yeah, also keep that in note, that they don't mention who Yeonjun's magical class is, which I think is also very interesting. But yeah, now that that's revealed, we now know that not only that Subin is an elf, or is like, that's his magic class, think of it like D&D, if you will. But also that means his mom is an elf, right? And she's the most powerful, but also that's her magic. So the fact that she's able, like, she's still alive clearly means that she's still pure and virtuous. But that also means that she's been foreseeing what's been happening in the future. And since she's older and again has more magical power, she's probably seen a lot more of the future than the little mini flash forwards that Subin has, which makes it even more tragic when Subin came to her and was like, I want to be a K-pop boy group idol. And she was just like, I don't know if that's for you, and tries to convince him not to do it. And then realizes in the future that like she knew that this was basically going to happen, but she tried to stop it from happening, but she knew that she couldn't stop it from happening, which is really sad. It's giving Garnet. It's really giving Garnet from Steven Universe, where it's like you see the future, but you can't stop it, but there's limited things that you can't see. So I don't think, because when Subin's mom flashes forward, she sees it going well, but by that time she didn't realize that Subin also realized that he's an elf and he unlocked his foresight power. So she had just the plan on the thought process of like, this is the future where it works out, and not the future where Subin unlocked his magic. And so it's an all-out brawl in the streets, and basically it's a back and forth of trying to stop. The boys are trying to stop the robbery, even though they don't know it's a robbery. They just know that they need to stop the blast that would cancel their concert. And the Dragon Clan's plan isn't going well because of them sort of foiling it. But they do send the used to be leader, and again, I skimmed over it, but basically just know there was a back and forth between Subin's mom and the leader, because Subin's mom's just like, I thought that we're a people that cares about all the people and want them alive, but you've been summoning attacks that have been harming people and killing people, so I need to take lead. And she somehow talked no jutsus her way in being the team lead, but that guy's still a part of the clan. He becomes her right hand man, and the reason why he was the member, or this person was the head, was because they were the most powerful person of their clan. And by that, I mean they are more powerful than Lot. It's just that Lot is the most powerful idol, right? That doesn't mean she's the most powerful person. So his most powerful thing is fire magic, and he's able to turn his whole body into lava, which is really dope. And so the boys start attacking lava dude or lava person. I don't know their gender really well, so I'm just gonna say lava person. And basically reveals themselves and starts attacking them, but it's like, you know what, you guys are getting powerful, but I could really kill y'all in an instant. This wasn't my orders, and I'm just gonna go based off of my orders, so I'm just gonna steal this truck and go. And that's essentially what happens, and that's where we leave off with volume 3. It ends with the guy basically being attacked and jumped by all 5 of them, but he's able to take them on. This is what the person looks like, by the way. Really, really dope. Again, visuals amazing. And does a big boom, which was something that they were trying to prevent, because remember, they've been doing all of book 3 has been, we just want to perform, god damn it. And that's where we end. I know, it's a lot. It's so good. It's so good. And like, to boil it down to basically the boys being told, like, you have an option of saving humanity or not, and they're like, yeah, but can I do my 1-2 step first, is hilarious. But they do it in such a serious way. Oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, that is the end of volume 3. Okay, I know that was a long one, and I know that was a lot. I hope my ribbles and rambles made sense and that it was a through line for you all. But like, so much happens here. I skimmed over some like side things and some cute funny moments, because this is actually really cute and fun and funny. But please, please, please read it on Webtoon or get the physical hardcovers. The reason why I have the physical hardcovers is because me and Webtoon have like a little bit of a thing where I removed it, not because I hate Webtoon, but I was like genuinely so addictive that it was consuming too much of my life and I needed to get off. But now that I could get physical copies, I can manage that better. So that's why I'm going to be getting the physical copies. And also I think that it's just more iconic for me to just be like, so yeah, if you liked my technically parts 1, 2, and 3 all in one video, make sure that you subscribe so you know the next time that I talk more about this. Or even I'm genuinely thinking about making a Webtoon series on my channel where I read K-pop webtoons and review them and go through the plot. I know Seven Fates is going to be Fuego because I believe it's the same company that makes, the same art group company that made this made Seven Fates, and I believe in Hyphen's thing as well, though I'm not a an hyphen girly, but I will read it and review it as well. Those are my plans, and some other webtoons as well. But yeah, if you want to know more about that and keep up to date, make sure to subscribe, like if you liked it, and let me know what you think. And if you have read this, tell me if I'm right or wrong about my lore, because I just felt so valid. I'm sorry. I did. Okay. With all of that being said, again, thank you so much for lasting this long and listening to my ribbles and rambles. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.